So sometimes people will ask me what they need to think about if they're planning on selling their business. And there are a handful of things that I really think are important to consider. The first of these is long-term tax efficiency. And when I say that, I'm not talking about the tax efficiency of the business itself. I'm really talking about tax efficiency for the owners of the business. And in particular, thinking about the estate and gift tax consequences down the line with the proceeds from the transaction. And if we're able to start 2 or 3 years before a transaction happens, there are a number of devices we can use that can significantly reduce the overall tax burden. But if we get up right against the time of the transaction, we lose the ability to really take full advantage of those devices. So planning far ahead and considering that is very important. Second thing that I think is important for people to consider is the depth of diligence that the buyer will undertake on the business. And a lot of people underestimate this. They think, oh, this is like, selling a car. If you go onto a car lot, you'll take the car out for a spin. You'll listen to hear if there's a flutter or the engine makes a funny noise. As long as that checks out, you'll buy the car and drive off the lot. But that's not what happens in an M&A transaction. And in representing buyers, what we do is we basically tear the whole car apart, put it back together and see if it still works. And if they're going to do that in connection with this transaction, you really need to have all of your files and your records very well organized and documented and together in one place. And the more organized you can be going into the process, not only will it make the process itself easier, but actually it can command a higher price. The buyers that I work with will often go in, and if they are impressed with how thoughtfully the business has been, records have been managed and put together, it'll actually increase the value they're willing to pay for the business because they assume the whole business is run well. The third thing that I tell people to think about in connection with a sale transaction is corporate approvals. A number of transactions will require the approval of the shareholders in order to get the transaction completed. And if you don't have all of the necessary votes lined up before you get into the deal, you can waste a lot of time and effort putting the whole deal together and not getting it across the finish line. It's taking the time before you even get into the process to make sure you have the votes and support you need to get the deal done really can make a difference in the timing and effectiveness and frankly getting the deal closed. The fourth item that I think people need to consider relates to the executive team. If you think about it, if you're a seller of a business, you're going to take away the proceeds from the transaction and go off and be happy, but you've got your team members being left behind. And if you don't look out for them on the front end, they may not even stay with you through the course of the transaction. So often we'll recommend putting in place some kind of a transaction bonus or stay bonus program for those employees so that they really know what's in it for them to do a great job in connection with the transaction.